Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's ManoDuster777, and we're back inside of Destiny here with your weekly Nightfall Solo Strike for Tuesday, January 3rd, 2017. Happy New Year, Guardians. Hope you're all doing well. The Dawning event is now gone, which is disappointing, but we hopefully have some stuff to look forward to soon. Here's the narration for the Nightfall.
Unsettling news. The Devil Splicers have used Siva to resurrect an old foe. Taniks the Scarred has become Taniks Perfected.
Taniks' crew has joined the Splicers. They're using Siva to reanimate his body and overtake his territory. Lord Saladin says you were indispensable in old Russia, Guardian. We thought you should be the one to handle this.
All right, so fun fact of the day as well. I missed this in the weekly reset video, but the old Iron Banner area in the tower is now open. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I'll let you guys know as soon as I can.
And now Taniks. There's no limit to what the Splicers will exhume to throw against us.
All right, so one thing I did not show you was all the things I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using my Sunbreaker Titan today with those modifiers. Biggest thing there is Cauterize and Explosive Pyre. I'm going to be using my Cryptic Dragon, 1,000-Yard Stare, Gjallarhorn, and Splice Cosmoclast Helm. Pretty much raid gear, except for stuff that's going to give me increased rocket ammunition. I'm going to be using the Gjallarhorn a lot during this particular strike because the modifiers are Chaff, Airborne, Specialist, as well as Ironclad. So being able to use Gjallarhorn while I'm in the air with my Titan is going to make things really easy. A lot of people think you have to rely on the Specialist piece a lot, but I'm thinking that I'm going to use one part Specialist, one part Airborne to get this done. But because you can see, other than that first fail rocket, I'm able to do a lot of damage while I'm in the air with my Titan. So word to the wise, especially with the Wolfpack rounds, being able to just jump up in the air. I didn't even have to shoot at that wizard at all. Just the Wolfpack rounds took her out. So take out those first opening groups of guys. There's going to be a gun right here that you're going to want to shoot before you go out. There's going to be another gun around the corner as well, but I don't shoot that because I just want to push through this section. I'm just right now trying to farm some enemies and some points. Again, I'm going to be using my Sunbreaker during this, and whenever I'm doing damage, I want as much as possible to do that damage while I'm in the air, because then the Airborne will take over and all of that explosive damage will do really nice work for me. Again, there's the gun I don't shoot, and I kind of just run by it. I might die, but luckily I don't. I take cover for just a second. Feel free to shoot that if you want, but I want to fly through this Nightfall, because this is the first time I've done this as a Nightfall in the new post-Dawning update. As much as possible, I try and clear those out. However, you don't get any points for that, so if there are a couple you don't want to shoot, that's fine. Again, my Cryptic Dragon going to work here. The explosive rounds is doing very nice. And again, you can see here, even though Ironclad is on, I can take down his shields, that Splicer Captain shields, by just hitting him with Gjallarhorn and jumping in the air. This room is full of a lot of mobs. Luckily, they will not really run at you until the second wave. There's going to be a lot of Void shields and a couple of Arc shields to look out for. Really no Solar shields other than that first Wizard to watch out for. And again, I'm trying to make sure I get into position so I can rocket him in the face and then get back down. There's a couple of these enemies that are up on platforms. You can shoot them right in the head. Actually, I find a little bit to the left or the right of the head usually works a little bit better on the Fallen for some reason. I don't know why. The Hive seem to work really well, but Fallen not so much. So, okay, so I'm going to pop my Sunbreaker here. And again, as much as I can, start to just wreck. Not a whole lot of ads, but the biggest thing here is since Chaff is on, I really don't have an idea of where a lot of them are spawning. I know they're coming from the main teleporter, but I really don't want to leave anything to chance. I don't want to get surrounded because that is something that you're not going to want in a Nightfall, because then you don't know if you've got a plan of escape. Luckily, I'm in a pretty safe place here for a little bit. Again, since Specialist is on, primary damage and heavy damage is kind of negated. You'll notice that whenever I use my Gjallarhorn, I force myself to jump up in the air And part of the other reason why I'm using Gjallarhorn is because since there's pretty much only fallen enemies and I'm using raid gear, it gives me the ability to get lots of increased ammunition drops. Now what I was doing there is checking to see if that was a Siva node that I could actually take out, but it is one of the permanent ones, unfortunately. And right here, again, I'm just trying as much as possible to do damage on Taniks Perfected without actually taking damage from him. Because the one thing about him that I feel like has changed from the last time we've done his strike is that he does not stop shooting. If he sees you, he does not stop ever. So a lot of times you'll see me go into cover just to make sure that I don't get him to proc his just annoying shot that just completely consistent. You'll see here that I stay in cover and he continues to shoot for quite some time, even though I'm in cover and he can't see me. So just word to the wise, go around, make sure you have all the heavy ammunition you can pick up.
How is that possible?
Maybe Taniks was more machine than we thought.
Go through the teleporter room
Perhaps he
and go to the next section. Again, I'm skipping this guy. I'm skipping that Siva Crisis node. No big deal.
We'll await your light on the other side.
Now, this next room is another perfect example of where you don't want to get surrounded. You want to make sure that you keep your enemies to the front at all times. Again, I'm going to take out as many of the Siva nodes as I possibly can. I don't know why that one didn't go down, but sometimes just double check and make sure you're actually hitting the main part of the Siva node. Again, that one didn't go down, so I just get frustrated and use my primary weapon. As soon as you touch down past the area with the stair, you will see him talk or hear him talk a little bit. And again, you will see lots of ads, kind of like the first year, but a lot of those ads will be the perfected, fallen, and so you want to make sure you take them out as fast as possible. Again, I'm trying as much as possible to use my Gjallarhorn and just take out as many of the enemies as possible. Now, like, there's a perfect example of as soon as he sees me, he just lets loose on that cannon. I'm waiting till he gets a little bit out of position, and I know he's not aiming at where I am now, but where I was. And again, I'm just trying to get a bunch of hits on him as possible. There will be a couple of the Vandals that will run up and try and take you out. Just go ahead and take them out as fast as you can. Nothing too crazy. Try as much as possible to find places for cover. You'll see I move around cover pretty wisely for the most part. Or if I get a pick, as soon as I start to take damage, I back off. Because if you're soloing this Nightfall, you don't want to back up at any point. Again, you just hear just constant shots from him. And he is relentless. I kind of just dip back and forth. You'll see me going through most of my ammunition for my special weapon at this point. A couple more ads spawn, and luckily a couple of shanks spawn. Again, as much as possible, I'm trying to take these guys out and not skip them by any means, because I want ammunition, lots of ammunition, because with the ability to get more heavy ammunition on this, it's going to work great for me. Again, rip through those dregs, get the damage for Taniks to go running, and you will be home free. There will be a ton of ads that come out once he screams, and if you can, try and do a better job than I did with the hammers as they're coming out the door. I could have probably taken them out in 2 or 3 hammers versus all of my hammers at that point. Again, gather as much ammunition as you possibly can, especially heavy ammunition. It is going to save you later on. So basically, this entire fight is basically just me clearing out waves of ads, and you can watch how I do this. It's not very complicated. As much as possible, I'm going to be taking out those cannon guys that are going to show up over here to the left. as well as there's going to be one cannon guy that's going to show up to the right. I'm going to try and use that cannon later on. And so just watch this opening area. You'll kind of get an idea of what's going on with this strike. It's not very challenging here. You just basically have to watch out for the Siva tank. Shoots a little bit differently than it did in year one. Again, try and grab as much heavy ammunition. I'll be back with you at the end of this room. All right, now that I have killed the tank gather up as much ammunition as you possibly can. And what you're going to want to watch out for here when you enter this room is you go past right to that little crate that's to your left, little fallen crate. He's going to start shooting relentlessly. So have an escape path. I'm on my Titan, so I get out of there. I shoot a couple of rockets and get it so I don't have to face him in the hallway. I would shoot a couple of rockets at him if at all possible, because otherwise he will appear over here in this left hallway. You can see I'm checking my corners. Nothing too crazy here. This room is where things get a little bit interesting with this boss fight. It gets a little bit chaotic just because of the new abilities of Taniks perfected versus the old Taniks. What's going to happen is, just like last year, he's going to show up right in front of you. And it's not going to be too nuts, because he's going to start off this opening. I'm going to do some damage as much as possible with my sniper rifle at this point. Try as much as possible to take cover during this section. Another reason why I'm on my Titan is the increased mobility, because I think it takes like 3 to 4 of those cannon shots, or the area of effect of the cannon shots, and you will end up being toast. So you will see me use cover a great deal in this Nightfall and moving around this area. This also happens to be the black spindle area, so I know this area pretty well. As soon as this happens, he's going to move over to this left side of the room. And what the challenge here is, you're going to have some ads that are going to spawn over here on the left side of the door, as well as over to the right. I'm as quickly as possible going to take those guys out and then get back to cover. Meanwhile, I have to try and take out those Siva nodes before too much can happen. And the thing is, there's a lot of ads here. One of the reasons why Gjallarhorn works so well on this strike is because of that. And again, I'm going to try and take this piece out right here, take all of those out, so then it will say Taniks power fades, and essentially he loses his immunity. At this point, I'm going to want to try and use my sniper rifle on him, but there may still be a couple of dregs and vandals that you have to take out. Try and conserve your special weapon power and your special weapon ammunition for him. When you get a second, you can move the cover. Very much like how I do the black spindle mission, I clear ads and then I go for him. It doesn't really matter how much time this particular mission takes, because I have plenty of it. I have 14 minutes and his life is more than halfway down. Now this is one close call here. I almost get wrecked here, but again, you can see me using cover, establishing lots of lines of sight to take those guys out and keep them guessing. And that's one of the nice things about this room, is there is a lot of cover, which is nice. Now what's going to happen is the next part of the Siva nodes are going to spawn, and then this part kind of stinks. Again, this is another great part of using Gjallarhorn. There are going to be a ton of those servitors that are going to appear, and I'm talking a lot from that back room. And you can see I'm staying over here in this area, trying as much as possible to take cover. Now the tricky part is that those servitors and those different fallen enemies will actually come up pretty close to you if you don't take them out. So I'm trying to take them out as much as possible. And the tricky part is, you can see Taniks is over there and he's shooting you from one side and the other enemies are coming from another. So you have to do your best to just manage your cover. Don't do anything too crazy. Don't rush this section. It's going to be a little nuts. If you don't have a lot of ammunition, just kind of take your time. You can see here I was holding on to my Gjallarhorn ammunition in case if I needed to clear a lot of ads. Again, you can see there's just a ton of them. I actually thought for a while that they kept spawning. They didn't actually stop, but they actually do stop spawning. It just seems like they don't after a while. Now, again, I take a quick chance because I need some ammunition. I know that there is a heavy ammo pack over by Taniks, and I'm going to try and get him to move next. That's the next piece, is to try and get him away from over on that right side, and to get him down over there and then back to the middle where he belongs so we can do damage to him. Again, the key thing is to know where you can take cover in this strike. And again, I'm going to be trying to save as much ammunition as possible. That's why I decided just to melee this dude. And he's the last guy other than that servitor left. Again, taking out as many of those Siva nodes as I possibly can. And you can see it's a little bit tricky to take out that last one. There is quite a bit of cover for him as well, which is a little bit tricky, but it's very doable. I'm going to let this servitor kind of come over here, use my primary weapon, and my goal is to try as much as possible to get special weapon ammunition. Again, using cover as much as I possibly can. And there we go. A little bit of special ammunition. And since I don't have Taniks shooting at me over there, I can actually go back and show a little bit. Again, we'll have Taniks power fades. Truth is, I probably should have held on to those rockets, but I know I'm going to use a heavy ammo synthesis at some point. So I want to get him to proc the next section, or at least use as much of my special weapon ammunition as I can at this part. Now, he's just slowly following me. Again, you can see as soon as I take a little damage, I back up, because all it takes is 1 or 2. I get triple tap to spawn on my sniper. Life is good. Now, after a certain point, he will go back up to the middle, and then there will be SIVA nodes all around the room that you have to take out. You just kind of have to watch out for it. This spot is safe for now, but there are going to be more waves of ads that are going to be coming behind me in just a second. And with Chaff on, you're not going to see them coming. You're going to hear them. You're going to hear a couple of Vandal swords spawning behind me, and that's my cue to get out. Again, some shanks are coming from that back door, and in addition, you'll also have some, as I call them, Samsung Galaxy S7s, some exploding shanks. Okay, you can hear the Vandals. They spawn. Luckily, I have my headphones on, and I can take those guys out. And again, I'm going to use as much of this room as possible. I'm going to make the circle as much as possible. It doesn't matter as long as he doesn't get more than 1 or 2 shots. In addition, that also gives me an opportunity to get special weapon boxes over there. Again, we've got more invisible Vandals spawning all the time. Luckily, I got some Gjallarhorn ammunition, and I'm able to take out as much of those shanks in the middle as possible. Again, you can hear them kind of proccing, so I highly encourage, since it's got Chaff on this week, have your headphones ready. Have your headphones ready, because that's going to be a very, very worthwhile advantage to you, especially if you're running this solo. I look to check and see if his shield is still on. It is. I still hear some Vandals behind me, and it's okay. I've got 9 minutes left. I'm not in a rush. I don't really care about the score right now. I mostly care about the fact that I'm a gold contender. He's almost dead. I'm going to risk it for the biscuit right here and get one quick heavy ammo pack that I'm going to use. And again, I'm trying to be as much as possible, just very, very, very mobile as much as possible until I find a nice area, piece of cover. This is my favorite piece of cover right here for the new Taniks strike. And it was for last year too. You just very much have to be aware of what's going on. And now actually, for the most part, all of the guys are gone. So just like the Black Spindle mission, lots of waves of enemies. As soon as you take out all the waves, they just kind of go away. And then you can take out Taniks at your leisure. Now, I think for a minute about using my sniper rifle since Specialist is on, but since I cracked the heavy ammo pack anyway, I'm going to just use my Gjallarhorn once I get low on the ammunition, just because I'm getting sick of getting rocketed from him. Be careful when you do this behind cover. It will lead into columns and stuff if there's homing, so just make sure that you don't get killed by your own rocket. And that's Taniks for this week. Not a very difficult strike if you're running with your Titan. Very much very easy to do. From the box, you can get a class item for your hunter, which is the Taniks cloak, which is actually really cool. So if you need one of those, go ahead and use your skeleton key on that one. And yeah, really enjoyed doing this one this week. It was not nearly as difficult as last week. I know a lot of people last week struggled with Omnigul, but this week is pretty simple. Just watch out for Chaff and make sure you have your Gjallarhorn with you. If you like something in this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for lots of Destiny content. Feel free to check out my Twitch live streams. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you got, or if you need any help with the Nightfall, or if you have any comments or anything else like that. So until next time, Guardians, I will see you in the universe of Destiny.